soon as we can go, it'll let me know.
Okay.
We're live.
Yes.
Yes. Hello,
Yes.
everyone, and welcome. Sorry, we're on a little late today.
Apologies.
Welcome to Learning with Miss Nancy Live. Yes, we go live every Tuesday at 1 o'clock and sometimes a little later, depending on the technology.
Mm,
And today, for those of you who don't or are here for the first time, my name is Miss Nancy, and I have a YouTube channel entitled Learning with Miss Nancy. And my channel is a delightful channel geared for early learners. That's children between the ages of 0 to 6 years old.
hmm
And I have all original content. And my goal is to help them become wonderful students of academia and wonderful, secure students as far as social, emotional growth is concerned.
hmm
I am here to help parents, teachers, and the community of early learners just to do, let me just say, I'm just here to help. Okay, because we're all working together so that our kids can thrive and grow. So I
Yeah.
bring my expertise to the field, and together we can work it out to make sure that our kids have what they need. So with that being said, and make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe
Subscribe.
to dancing because I wanna just make sure that I just reach the whole world, right? So today we have a special guest. His name is Isaac Cahoe, and there he is. Look at that handsome face,
Hey.
and it's really take a real good look at that handsome face. He looks like someone that you might see on screen. Ta-da! That's my son. Yes, that's my son. I have three adults. I always say children, but three adults. Uh, and he is the middle. And he's
Yes.
always been the one to keep things balanced. Isaac, welcome to the show.
Thank you so, and I appreciate you for having me, getting me on here, Doll. You're doing a wonderful job. I love your persistence and your consistency with this, and I believe it will continue to grow. And I love you, Mom. I
Oh,
love it. I
thank
love
you.
it, dude.
Yeah, my son, he calls
Do
me
your
Dom.
thing now.
Thank you. So thank you so much. And
You're
I think
welcome.
people, come on. We got one person on. Let's come on in. But
Come on
today,
through now.
let's come on through. So today's topic is, despite what you've heard, fathers are important. Despite what you've heard. Now, before we get into this, and we're going to get into this, and Isaac is a wonderful father, right? And
Thank
fathers get a bad rap. You'll hear people say, oh, he's a deadbeat dad. You hear those terms. All right, he's
you.
a son of a biscuit eater. No good. My baby daddy ain't fill in the blanks. And who made
Mm.
up that term, baby daddy? I hate that term. I hate baby mama, baby daddy. I hate it all.
Yeah, I have no clue where that came
I
from,
hate it.
actually.
But if you look on the internet, you will just see so many negative portrayals of dads. And we got to uplift our fathers because there are a lot of fathers out here doing good things. Now, despite what you've heard, despite what you've seen, for many people, stereotypes and stigmas are the reality.
Yes.
But we have to understand that stereotypes and stigmas don't always align to what is real, right? Which is why we have to kind of go and delve into what the data says. And all the time, and sometimes data can be a little skewed, but at least data and research on a specific topic just helps us to get a better understanding of an issue. So
I
if we
believe it.
talk about fathers, then we need to go looking to see what does the data say. So before you get started, like I wanted to tell the
Okay.
audience that I looked at this one site,
hmm
and it's called the extent of fatherlessness.com. The extent
What?
of fatherlessness.com. And it says, listen to this, an
hmm
estimated 24.7 million children live absent their biological father. 24.7 million children.
24.7.
Yes. Then it says students, and we're talking about
hmm
early learners, right? Zero
hmm
to six. But students in grades 1 to 12, this excludes the ones that we're working with, because
Right.
first grade is kind of getting out of the early learning stage. But listen, students in grades 1 to 12, 17.7 million of those students live in homes absent of their biological father. That's a lot. That's what the data says. Also, according to the 72.2% of the US population, listen to this, fatherlessness is the most significant family or social problem facing America. So that's not a stereotype. That's not a
Damn.
stigma. That's a reality based on data. Now I'm going to tell you something that I extracted
Hmm.
from the most popular book in the world,
Hmm.
especially in the United States.
Hmm.
The Bible has been for years, and this is not a religious show, but year after year after year, the Bible has been the number one selling book across the country. No other book outsells the Bible. So let's be clear. So according to
Absolutely.
this number one, right,
Hmm.
best-selling book, listen to this. In Proverbs, the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 6, it says, children's children, so that's grandchildren, are the crown of old men. So grandchildren are the crown of old men. But it goes on to say, and the glory of children is their father. Not mother. Read it for yourself, folks. Proverbs 17:6. And the glory of children is their father. So, just based on that little information that I provided, there has to be, there is an issue.
Major.
Fatherlessness, despite what we see, despite what it is a problem. But there are some fathers out here making things happen, and you're looking at one right now.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
So, so despite the data that I just read off, right, and despite what we see on the internet, the negative things that we see about dads, how can you give us a different view as to the positive impact that a father makes in the life of an early learner?
So first and foremost, just wanted to say this when you were speaking about the statistics and the data and how many children actually are in fatherless homes, and then you read off Proverbs 17:6. Would you mind reading that one more time?
Okay,
Just so
Proverbs
the glory, yeah,
says children's children, that would be grandchildren,
right,
are the crown of old men. Grandchildren are the crown of old men,
right.
and the glory of children is their father.
Right. And what came to my mind is the structure of the heavenly host, right?
Yeah.
So as you've taught me and as I read
Mhm.
family growing up,
Mhm.
we understand the Trinity.
Yeah.
Everything has a structure and he designed the structure in this manner.
Mhm.
God the Father,
Mhm.
Jesus the Son, and the
Mhm.
Holy Spirit,
Yes.
right? But they all work as one. So I
Mhm.
believe the same way um is for the structure of the home and the family as well. I believe he designed it like that.
Mhm.
Father, mother, children. And
Yes.
that's not taking away anything from anybody,
Yes.
but that's the way he designed it, a specific order, right?
Mhm. Yes.
So I believe, like, especially with that passage when you said the glory of the children is the father,
Mhm.
that what came to my mind is nobody comes to my father but through me.
Right.
Like Jesus in himself, as
Right.
powerful as he is, he's
Right.
still sending glory to his father above.
Yes.
If that makes any sense. So
Mhm.
um well, I'll get back to the question. I just wanted
That's good. Come
to
on now.
deliver that.
Uh-huh.
So the positive you said the positive factors or the importance of
Yes.
a
How it impacts, because you're a dad of three girls, three
yes.
early learners,
And
three early learners.
yes. And you know what? But the most important things, especially me personally,
Mhm.
is first of all, being present in their
Mm-hmm.
lives.
Mm-hmm.
Um, them physically seeing you every day
Mm-hmm.
is enough to boost their self-esteem or
Mm-hmm.
shape their identity. Just the physical nature of them laying their eyes on you
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
enough to boost them and fill them up with esteem and love and uh, joy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we also have the emotional aspect
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
being present,
Yes.
right? So I could be physically present, but that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean I could be emotionally present or spiritually present. And I
Mm-hmm.
say that to say because I have the three girls, right?
Mm-hmm. What are their ages, Isaac?
Oh, sorry, their ages are 7, 5, and 3.
Wow.
So I got three young girls back to back to back. And being emotionally present
Mm-hmm.
is you can't to me, you can't overlook the little things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can't overlook the little, even if it's something like, Dad, I have a little nick. Ow. We may look at it like, all right, come on, toughen up.
Right.
Toughen up, little
Mm-hmm.
ma. It's not
Yeah.
that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But to them,
Mm-hmm.
your kindness,
Mm-hmm.
your gentleness from a father,
Mm-hmm.
that holds that type of stature in
Mm-hmm.
their lives.
Mm-hmm.
The word you speak to them
Yes.
on every level
Mm-hmm.
plays a huge impact on how their mind shape and the way they grow up. If
Wow.
they know I could come to my dad for the littlest things and he's going to show me comfort,
Mm-hmm.
security, love, he's going to
Mm-hmm.
explain what happened, give me
Mm-hmm.
solutions,
Mm-hmm.
then I can grow up feeling more secure in myself,
Yes.
more belief in myself,
Yes.
learning over time, hey,
Mm-hmm.
my dad showed me that,
Mm-hmm.
he was
Mm-hmm.
there for me, but I really don't have to cry over some small stuff.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I mean? They can become more emotionally intelligent
Mm-hmm.
over time.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Wow.
why I believe you have every day is an investment
Okay.
in your children. It's not enough to be present because I can say I'm present in my kid's life. I'm here, ain't I?
Mm-hmm.
But we can all be sitting in the same room. I could say, hey, I'm present. I'm here with the kids. But am I talking to them?
Mm-hmm.
Am I asking about their day? Am I asking how they feel today? Am I
Mm-hmm.
asking them what their likes, their wants,
Mm-hmm.
what they want
Mm-hmm.
to be? That's
Mm-hmm.
emotional investment into
Mm-hmm.
their lives. And I look at it like a bank.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Love deposits, love deposits,
yeah.
love deposits. So when they grow up, they
Mm-hmm.
have enough love deposits stored up.
Mm-hmm.
So when people start taking a little bit withdrawals here and there, we know they fall. They're gonna fall.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna stumble over time. But they have enough love savings, love deposits stored up that it won't affect them or break them down to the point where it's like, I don't have any identity anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
So I believe that like the emotional investments being present, and also, you know what, Ma?
Mm-hmm.
Being accountable,
Yeah.
showing them accountability
Mm-hmm.
as a father. If
Okay.
they see me the head of the household and they're used to discipline or structure or order and blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
if I'm wrong and I can't say I'm wrong, what does that say to them? If the top guy is teaching us everything
Mm-hmm.
about rights and wrong, but when he's wrong, he can't say he's wrong.
Mm. Yeah. So
That's kind of
being able to say I'm sorry to your own kid, huh?
being honest.
Humble
I'm a big
yourself.
believer in that. Hey,
Yeah.
I tell my kids, yo, that's my bad. They be like, yeah, dad, you salty? Yeah, but I am.
Yes.
I am. Because
Mm-hmm.
I want them to know accountability all around the board.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
what I mean? Not just, hey, like I have this position of power, so that I'm accountable when I want to be.
Right.
Like I'm your dad, so I tell you when I'm right
Mhm.
or wrong. No, don't work like that. Truth
Right.
is the truth, lie is a lie,
Right.
right is right, wrong is wrong.
Right.
So,
Right.
that's a couple of things I teach them in the early stages of childhood,
Very
trying to
interesting.
cultivate the root a little bit.
You listen, I don't even have to ask any questions because you touched on a lot of things, and especially for parents, fathers,
Mhm,
what's a way for them? Let's say, okay, many fathers aren't present in the home. Okay.
mhm,
but how can they be present in the lives of their children? Because you can still be a very engaged father, even though you may not be married to the mom. You know, you may be separate from the mom, you may be divorced from the mom, but you can't divorce yourself from your children. So, what are
Right.
some things that a father can do to make sure that they keep that connection? Because that's what kids need, that connection, right? So, what are some
Mhm.
things you think you could maybe share?
So, and
Not that it happens
and I,
in your house because you're married and it's solid,
yeah,
but
and everybody has um different situations. Like they
yeah.
may be with a mom, may not be. You know,
Mhm,
it's all types of factors. I haven't been through that. Like a lot of the things they've been through, I can't really speak on their situations.
mhm,
But what I can speak on is the child has nothing to do with that.
mhm, mhm.
The child didn't just wake up one day and say, "Hey, I'm here," because y'all two looked at each other
Right,
and kiss.
right,
You get what I'm saying?
right.
So you gotta it starts with accountability again.
Okay.
You gotta come to grips
Mhm,
with your actions
mhm.
and whatever consequences that came with it.
Okay.
But the child has nothing to do with that.
Mhm,
So I say if you're not in the home with the child, still it's still ways to be present,
mhm.
especially in this age,
Right.
right? You
Mhm,
got they're at school. Let's just
mhm,
take simple things. If they're at school, the littlest things, they may have a little play.
mhm.
Try to make that play.
Right.
And it's not enough to say, like, again, you got to put 100% in it.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
not enough to say, hey, at least I came, but it's 5 minutes left
Right,
in the play.
right.
You use some time management. Show
Mhm.
up on time to
Yes,
the play.
yes.
Show up on time. Make
Mhm,
sure you're visible
mhm,
with the play. Sports games,
mhm,
show up. Try to get that front row. Show up early.
mhm,
Stay
mhm.
late. Talk to them.
Right,
You know they may have to go to another home, but
right.
show them you're there. Call them.
Mhm, mhm.
Call them. Try to make a way to make yourself as visible as possible.
Okay.
Spend as much time as you can with them because I always say this. I believe time is the
Mhm.
real wealth because without time, it don't matter how much money you make. If you run out of time, that's a wrap.
Right,
That's it.
right,
Right?
right,
When we work, what do we say? I work 40 hours, I get this much.
right.
But I never seen somebody say, yo, let me go to the store, let me purchase 3 hours, 2 months, and let me get about 87 of them seconds with money. I never seen that before. So time is the real investment, and you have to invest time.
Yes,
And once you invest time, the presence comes next.
yes. Okay.
Cultivate the relationship with the child. Ask, it's a relationship. I got three daughters. It's three different relationships
Mhm,
I have to try to manage, and they're all different. I can't
mhm.
treat all my daughters the same. I can't love them all the same because they each have their own love languages.
Okay, okay. So
You
learn the love language.
they each have that. You got to learn the love and learn their ins and out. They have their own. My oldest, she really loves gifts.
Okay.
She loves quality time.
Yes.
My middle loves touch
Mhm,
and
mhm.
words of affirmation. That just boosts her up.
Right.
And
The youngest.
my my youngest loves quality time and touch
Mhm.
as well. She likes to snuggle,
Uh-huh.
right?
Right.
But they're all different. They each
Mhm,
have their own language. They each have a way you have to or well, I have to speak to them as a
mhm.
father. I can't speak to them all the same.
Right. Right.
You know, I could maybe be a little stern with the oldest one because she can handle it, but I may have to be softer with the
Mhm,
middle one. And I'm trying
mhm.
to learn as well. And I tell him, Daddy's trying to learn. I'm sorry
Right.
too. I
Mm,
mess up here and there with how I
right.
communicate with you guys, but
Right.
I want us all to continue to improve.
Right.
I want you to communicate with me and
Right.
keep it funky with me.
Right. Right.
Tell me how
Right.
you feel so
Right.
we can learn,
From each other.
grow. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So
You've given us some good tips because you said One, as a father, whether you're with the mother or not, you are
Be
to
present.
be present, to be present. Two, be accountable. Hold yourself accountable, right? And
Yes.
that's key because there's no excuse.
Mm-mm.
I learned a long time ago excuses are the tools of the incompetent, which builds monuments to nothingness. Those
Mm.
who specialize in them
Hmm.
seldom excel in anything else. So hold yourself accountable and don't make excuses.
Right.
I heard you also say three, learn the love languages. Every child doesn't need the same thing. So
Mm.
learn the love language of your child because if you're giving them the wrong love, that's not what they need. If you're giving gifts, you could give gifts all day to a kid that needs you quality time. Then you say, "Well, I gave them gifts." Well, you didn't give
Right.
what they needed. They needed the touch and the quality time from you. You know,
Right.
I heard that's
Exactly.
what I heard too. And also, like you said, be humble, be able to apologize. A fatherless, a father that's not in the home, just say, "Look, I'm sorry. Your mom, we didn't work out, but you're not the reason why." And I don't have to
Hmm.
get into details with you, but just know that I love you more than anything. And to me, love is action, not just
Yes.
talking. Love is showing. So, like you said, showing up for those games. They don't have to look around and say, "Is Daddy coming?" Daddy's there. Like you said, make your way to the front row.
Hmm. Yes.
And you said be on time. Don't get there the last 5 minutes and say, "Well, I was there." No. Make yourself. It's like you have to press forward, even though you may be busy. I know this one father, I call him Father of the Year. He and the mother don't get along at all. I mean, at all. She can't stand him, and he certainly can't stand her. But he loves his children. And I,
Right.
I applaud him every time I see him because he breaks his neck to figure out creative ways to get to those kids. And one thing he did that I thought was really clever, so he has visitation or whatever, but he can go to the school. So she has him down on the, you know how you have to sign up like emergency contacts and stuff.
Excuse me. Hmm.
So the kids said to him, his children said that they hated the lunches. They hate lunch. So what he does every single day, doesn't matter rain, snow, sleet, or hail, he's at the school delivering the lunch to them.
Wow.
You'll see them in the yard
Like that. Hmm.
and he makes sure that he brings them a lunch and gives it to them. So that's something that they look forward to. Now, I'm sure every day the lunches aren't nasty, but that's something that he developed just for the two of them. You know,
Mm.
it's two kids and him, but that's something he breaks his neck to do, and that's something that he has held true. And they look that makes their day. Just to
Hmm.
see him once a day, it at the beginning of the day with their lunch, that means a lot. And every time that he can, when mom's not acting funky, like you say, funky, when she wants to be bothered, he tries not to even play into that. But it's hard, and some men stay away because they don't feel like hearing it.
Hmm.
Some men, because
That's true.
there are a lot of women that play fair, but I know that there are a lot of women that don't play fair.
You're right.
Some guys will say, forget it, and they'll forget you and the children. But we want the fathers
Right.
to come on back home. Come on back. Leave the woman on the side. You don't have to be bothered with her. You figure out a way to devote your life, your love to your children. Forget about what don't even make her the issue. And that's what
Hmm.
many of I think men do, make her the issue. But you've given us some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful topic. Now, here's something I wanted you to hear.
Yes.
uh, I'm into this fatherlessness uh, web page, and they even said that education is extremely important. It says fathers who never completed high school live apart from their children
Dang.
70% compared to those who graduate from high school. Now, that may be a high number, but what they're saying is most fathers who don't complete high school live separate from their children. They don't have relationships. That's something to think about because when we're talking about educating our early learners, dad
Mm.
has to play a crucial role in that process. And I remember last week, I don't know if you saw our video last week, and we
Hmm.
talked to Miss Idella Hackett, and we were talking about higher education, and she was telling us that many of her colleagues, they start thinking about college for their children while the children are in the womb. They're calling colleges and saying, what is it that my child needs to, get accepted into? What are the prerequisites for getting
Hmm.
accepted into your college? So if a father can't read, can't compute, hasn't finished high, then he's on his way not even he's not probably going to be a good dad, but he's going to be a problem in the streets, in the world. So
Yeah.
fathers, to me, it's like a direct connect. They say fatherlessness is one of the major issues in our country. Then let's trace that all the way back to this gun violence. Is that possible? That could be one of the reasons these guys out here shooting them, acting, it could be. Because if fathers are there, do you think fathers,
Cycle.
yet a cycle, fathers can prevent a lot of this by, like you're saying, establishing these relationships. Let me ask you something about the discipline of early learners.
Hmm.
What is your discipline style for your three girls?
So my girls know, and if you ask them today,
Mm-hmm.
actions have consequences.
Okay.
So I believe I let my girls choose. I say,
Okay.
I go ahead, choose, choose
Uh-huh.
which one. But what does Daddy say? Action has consequence. Yeah,
Right.
go ahead. So
Okay.
if you're gonna do something wrong,
Mm-hmm.
something's coming behind that.
Yes.
If you do something right, you get a reward. I
Right.
lay it plainly,
Okay.
and that's my whole thing. So when they do something right,
Mm-hmm.
right? I just
Mm-hmm.
want to start with the positive. When
Okay.
they do something right, a very key piece in that is the consistency and
Mm-hmm.
keeping your word.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Keeping
You
your word.
you
Okay.
have to keep your word,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a minor or major reward, because if they're going to try to stay out of trouble
Mm-hmm.
and stay away from consequences, you got to make sure you give that energy as well. As much energy as you give the consequences, you got
Mm-hmm.
to give even more for the positive things.
Okay.
Because you want them to know that, hey, I can do right.
Right.
I can work for something and there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
Hope,
Yes. Yes.
hope.
Okay.
But the consequences,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
my consequence is more like a learning thing.
Okay.
Now, I also believe you can't just, well, I'm gonna take personally, I can't just punish my girls without giving them the solution and talking about it afterward. If that
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense, like explaining the situation,
Mm-hmm.
what you did, and why you got what you got.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? And then after that process, you have to, once they finish crying or whatever
Mm-hmm.
happened, you gotta come back with the love.
Okay.
It
Mm-hmm.
has to be that gentleness at the end.
Okay.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? Because you want them to know, hey man, I still love you, but I want you to know you can't do that. You know what
Right.
I mean? Just like
Right.
God does us. Hey, God be like, hey, don't do that. Don't
Right.
do that. You're not supposed to do that. Not supposed
Mm-hmm.
to do that. We do it anyway.
Right.
Everything has consequences to it. But he comes back, hey, I still love you. You're
Right.
still my child. So I
Right.
try to model that
Mm-hmm.
as best as I can.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
but that's my discipline style. My girls know you need accountability. Actions have consequences.
Right. Right.
And I also do reward
Mm-hmm.
systems as well. I,
Okay.
I
Good.
like visual things for early learners.
Okay. Okay.
So my girls know, hey, we got this board. This is what you're working for when you
Mhm.
behave, do your chores, do your homework, and do what
Right.
you got to do.
Right.
But also under this line is what will happen if you
Mhm.
don't do what's up here.
Right. Right.
So I do visual, audio,
Mhm.
audible
Okay.
with my children, and I
Mhm.
also show them. You have to
Mhm.
be a model,
Yes.
right? Because if I'm not doing it, if I can't do it, why should I do it? That's I
Right.
can't think.
Right.
But
Right.
dang, my daddy's doing it too
Right.
with me.
Right.
So say for instance, if they have to clean,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Right.
I'm a clean with them.
Okay.
I'm a clean with. I may be in the background, but they
Hmm.
won't feel alone and be like, "Hey, I did mess up, but look, my dad's right here in the boat with me."
Right, right, right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's my kind of my discipline style
Okay.
for my kids, and it don't have to really be much. Yes, it's challenges. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I can lose my head like any human being, but it's the especially with girls, the patience, and I was reading the fruits of the spirit, like the patience, the gentleness,
Hmm.
the kindness.
Hmm.
You know, try speaking to them softly and
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
language they can
Not
hear.
harsh
So
and mean.
not
Yeah,
harsh and mean. No, you
yeah.
don't have to.
Yell and
Well, I
scream.
don't. Like you don't have to be super hard. Like I told you, blah blah, cursing and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah.
No, that's that, and that's why it comes down to understanding your child.
Hmm. Hmm.
Understand how they work, and you won't have to do all that if you understand them.
Right, right.
You know that frustration comes when I don't know what to do. I don't understand how they operate. Ah.
Hmm. Right, right, right.
Invest, spend time with your kids, figure them
Mhm.
out,
Right. So I,
build, cultivate.
in your experience, because I know you've done a lot of work with early learners.
Hmm.
In your experience, have you seen fathers engaged? Have you seen evidence of this fatherlessness that we've been talking about, or no? Has that been a
Oh,
reality or a stigma?
throughout the career of working with them, I
Hmm.
would say I see a lot of fathers.
Okay.
Like I see
Okay.
a whole lot of fathers for real, for real.
Okay.
Um, if I could give you a percentage just from my personal experience,
Hmm.
I would say about 70-30.
Okay. Okay.
Because I think a lot of times they like to highlight, people like to highlight what's going on in their world or in their circle,
Uh-huh.
but never seen anything on the outside. And then they generalize it and
Mhm.
blast it to the public.
Okay.
From my situation, if you had a bad situation, now everybody's like, no,
Right.
no,
Right.
no.
Right.
I see a lot of fathers that are involved, but
Yes.
they don't get the praise
Right.
because of that stigma, that cloud that's over there. I know a lot of good fathers.
Yes.
A
Yes.
whole, I've seen a lot of good fathers in the school actually there. And
Right.
what I'm saying, actually going to games, plays, and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean?
What
But
do we
it's
need
that
to do?
stigma, that
What
cloud.
do we need to do to expose them? Because again, I said this that we need to we hear the research, but then we also look at the internet, and the internet for some people is the Bible, honey. If it's on the internet, it happened and it's so.
Right.
But how can we do a better job exposing the goodness of the fathers who are out there humping and making it happen? Like, what can we do to uplift them? Because I think a lot of fathers are beat down. They're feeling like, man,
Yeah,
nobody really
tired. That's a lot they got to jump through. A lot of
listens.
hoops, man.
Mhm, mhm,
You know what I mean? Why they
mhm.
got to do all these tricks just to, be in their kids' lives? And like I think we was talking earlier, like, yeah, some play fair and some don't.
Yeah.
But you're hurting the child at the end of the day, and we've seen a story and movie over and over and over again.
Mhm, mhm,
You know what I
mhm.
mean? Like I
Yeah.
know. Let's just come to grips of letting the child being. I mean, the father being the child's life. You
Yeah.
know, because the child deserves that.
Yes.
At least that relationship. You
Yeah.
know, let the child figure it out for themselves,
Yeah.
which way it goes. You know,
Mhm,
but I
mhm.
believe um more. I think more talks like this
Okay. Okay.
more talks like this, like
Mhm.
on, I know they have certain podcasts and stuff like that, like,
Right.
but I would be more uh just community, maybe community events, and maybe some I don't know about,
Yes.
but some dedicated to, I'm a black father,
Right.
like and we
Right.
know the stigma of black father,
Right.
but dedicated to the black father,
Right.
like specifically.
Yes.
And it's nothing wrong with that. We get a bad rap.
Yeah.
So let's try to build that back
Yeah.
up,
Okay.
for our community.
Right. Right.
So
And I think within the community, like if you look around, like I was in education before I retired. Even though I'm still doing education with Learning with Miss Nancy. Make sure you subscribe. But
subscribe
32
right now.
years, 32 years, and I will say that absenteeism of fathers, I saw it. I saw it, and many times, and in many cases, those students who had those terrible acting out behaviors,
Mm-hmm.
in many cases, there was an absent dad or no role model at all. Mom was doing it all. And many moms, hats off to them, they're doing everything.
Hmm.
But dads must be present. Like I said, the book, the best, it has been the number one book for years and years and years. The Bible, people hate to read it, but it lets you know, like you said, things were set up in a specific order. We're just totally out of order, I personally believe. And that's one of the things and one of the reasons why we're still having all of these problems. Fathers have to take their place. They've been given this authority. It's been given to them. That's why I used to marvel at men when they just make their presence known.
Hmm.
Atmosphere changes. When they walk in, and I hate to say it, people might say, oh, that's real sexist. It's reality. When a man walks on the scene, a real man walks on the scene and makes his presence known, the atmosphere does take a shift.
Ships.
It really does. And so next week, we're going to have a gentleman on who's going to talk about, it's just like a part two, because you've given the nice general side. And he's going to talk about real men should
Hmm.
be able to take a punch in the gut.
I
He's going
like
to take
that.
some punches in the gut because his idea is that men must take their rightful place. And a lot of the reasons why, as the Bible did say, men fathers are the crown of their children, and if the glory comes from the dad and he's not
Hmm.
doing
Not
his
them.
part, then the kids are not, they're lost. Mom's doing the best she can, and like I said, hats off to mom, but dads have to take their rightful place and things will come back into cohesion. So Isaac, our time has drawn nigh. Are there any last words that you'd like to maybe share with our audience? Because you've dropped some gems on us. And like I always tell my audience, make sure that you listen with a pad and pencil because you've given us some wonderful things to think about. In closing, how would you like to close this segment
I would say just going back to that structure.
out?
Once again, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Just going back to that structure, I just want to let uh, if the man, woman, you do have a child together,
Hmm.
no matter what your relationship status is. Like you said, the father was given authority and it is a specific order.
Hmm.
Now, a lot of times we do see, like, we tip the hats off the mom. We know you do what you got to do to provide and keep going for the kid, but it's that order. And God has given a man
Hmm.
that position.
Hmm.
So I think of a house, right?
Hmm.
You can have the walls, you can have the flooring, you can have the windows, but without the complete structure, you're going to have some problems in that home. Without
Mm.
that roof that's supposed to be on there,
Yeah.
you're going to have problems. Not saying you can't operate, you can operate, but what
Hmm.
happens when it rains?
Yes.
Just saying, what happens when it snows?
Hmm.
What
Yeah.
happens when things fall? You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's just the structure.
Hmm.
Just the structure. Don't operate without a roof.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And a lot of times I look at it as, oh, I don't need the father. You don't need him. That's like telling God like you made a mistake. Like we don't why do we need this? Like this part isn't needed. You made a mistake.
Mm.
Telling God he made a mistake with his order?
Mm. How arrogant, right?
Very.
Yes.
So I'll just say, hey guys, just try again.
Yes.
Try again.
Hmm.
And you know what your situation is. But get back into your kids' lives. You
Hmm.
don't have to do a grandiose what is it, entrance.
Yes. Grandiose. Yes.
Start small. Start building blocks, brick by
Hmm.
brick. Build the house back up. Just try again. That's my words. Try again. Don't
Hmm.
give up. Try again.
And in closing, that's a wonderful thing because with each new day, if you're blessed with a new day, that's a
Hmm.
new day to get it right. Or
Absolutely.
starting over again. You messed up yesterday. You may have messed up for the past 10 years. But here's a new day to get it right. And guess what? Men are built for it. They can take it. They can
Mm-hmm.
actually take it. Whatever comes your way, you are built to take it.
Mm-hmm.
So, Isaac, thank you so much for dropping those. And I'm gonna tell you one thing that really stuck with me. I never thought about buying time the way you said it. I don't go into a store and say I want to buy 25 minutes of this and give me 3 hours, and we can't do it. We can't. So utilize the time that we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Investing in loving our children, investing in our children, engaging with our children, serving as a role model for our children,
Absolutely.
being present and teaching them. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how things will get better. Ike, you have been wonderful.
Thank you,
Wonderful.
Doll.
Wonderful.
Thanks for having me on this
Thank you
thing.
so much. And thank you for those who tuned in. So we got in late, but guess what? It was worth it. It was worth it. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to Learning with Miss Nancy because we're always coming up with something new.
And
Until
comment.
and comment. So thank you again, Isaac, and thank you for those who tuned in and join us next week when we'll be continuing this conversation about fathers. But the next gentleman is going to say that a man can take a punch in the gut. Wow. All right. Until next time. Bye
All
bye.
right. Love you, Ma.
Love you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.